Hi, this is Trey Pass. Welcome to my spoilers review of episode 2 of Swamp Thing. I'm disappointed that they canceled the show already, which is really idiotic, but let me not ramble on that. But so I'm going to give you my review of episode 2. This one's called Worlds Apart. Okay, we last ended with the episode 1 with Alec Holland getting shot while he was trying to retrieve uh, uh, those briefcases and stuff with that mysterious serum. Yeah, he was trying to collect those on the swamp, and he got actually shot and fell into the water, and of course he got transformed literally into Swamp Thing. Okay, and Abby, she saw the explosion and stuff, and she headed her way there to find him. And this episode opens with her trying to find him, and of course she can't find him, and she actually, she goes back to her friend and spends the night with her, trying to trying to you know, the cops basically investigating because there's this explosion and stuff and the shooting, and he's presumed dead. Alec Holland's presumed dead, so she wants to check his research because he was there before her, and she wants to see his research to try to find out exactly what's going on exactly, and maybe he has a clue about what can actually stop these people that are getting sick. And she admits to her friend that she really liked Alec, even though she only knew him for a few days. She really liked him. Okay, and of course she goes to see Avery Sutherland, played by Will Patton. Okay, and we found out in the last episode that apparently uh, Abby Arcane, she grew up with the Sutherlands, and her best friend, of course, was Shauna, and apparently she died in some mysterious way which they haven't fully explained. Okay, and of course she has to go to Avery because he was in charge of the funding the research that Apple was doing until he fired him. Okay, so he has to basically go to him to reluctantly to try to get access to it because the cops are treating his whole living space like a crime scene and impounding all that stuff. And of course, we find out that he's actually quite fond of Abby, even though the mother played by Virginia Madsen, she blames her for Shauna's death. But you can tell Avery, Will Patton, he still cares about her and considers her a daughter to him, because apparently they grew up together, his daughter and Abby, so he still considers her a daughter. You can tell he still has warm feelings for her, but he still won't let her access the information. Okay, okay, and she reluctantly goes off, even though she kind of mildly threatens him with maybe getting a court order to get it to it. Okay, and then she goes off, and then later we find uh, Alec for a Swamp Thing, and right now you see him. He's actually you see him struggling, and it's a great sequence with him struggling, and you see him like you know he's actually pulling on his head and something, pulling himself apart. You can tell that he's struggling with this new form he has, and at the same time you see the young girl that's in the hospital, that Susie, that survived from last episode. You can tell she has sort of a connection to him because when he's freaking out and like trying to rip his body apart, she's literally doing the same thing in the hospital. She's ripping the IVs and stuff out of her arm, and she actually heads out to the swamp to actually try to cuff him because they have some kind of psychic connection, and she heads out to see them. And then, of course, uh, Abby, she takes her, she goes with a good friend Matt, who's a sheriff now, and she has sort of or a deputy, excuse me, and you can tell he sort of has a crush on him. Even in this episode, we get to meet his mother, played by Jennifer Beals, who plays Lucille. I think she's the sheriff, and he's just the deputy. And she kind of warns him. She says, I know you had a crush on Abby and stuff. You still do probably. Just be careful. And they head out, to try to actually when they hear, excuse me, later, just before that, we see one of the guys that patrols the river. He heads out and he sees some guys basically putting more of those mysterious silver into the water, and he tells them, "Hold up, I got to check this out. Hold on." And he goes to see what they're doing, and he gets shot by one of them, and literally shot in the face by one of them. Okay, and they kind of, he's sort of just laying there dying, and while they run off, and then of course that's when the sheriff and Abby goes out there, to try to help. When they find out that this guy is not responding, they go out there to try to see if they could save him. And we later find out that she's actually a young girl, Shauna. She's actually hit herself on the boat of the I guess he's another deputy that was patrolling the thing and ran into these guys that were dropping those briefcases in the water. So she's actually on that boat. So once this guy gets shot with the big harpoon and stuff, she kind of runs off, and one of the bad guy starts chasing her through the thing, trying to catch up to her, gets to silence her, and then of course he runs into Swamp Thing, who literally gets shot by the guy a couple of times. Then you see his body literally heal, and then he basically has the weeds summoned, and they literally rip the guy apart, which is absolutely fantastic the way it happens. Okay, and then you see him look up at the girl, and they look at each other. You see they make they make that connection, and then of course you see Abby. She's while her and the deputy split up, and she's she's here, and she hears the girl, and she goes to her, and she finds the girl with Swamp Thing, and she beckons the girl to come with her, and she goes with her, and they go off on the boat, and they run into the deputy again, and they're heading back, and the girl, she's asking her, "Are you okay? You okay?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, and she asked her, who's your friend? Who's that person, that mysterious creature? And she goes, he's, she said he's confused. He doesn't understand these chains that are going through his body. Okay, and she says, "How do you know that?" "Yeah, he told me his name. His name is Alec." And that's how it goes off. So now, of course, we got to see now that will she put that together? Especially she says Alec. Will she go back there looking, thinking that is Alex somehow transformed? So anyway, this is a good episode. I really enjoyed it a lot, and it's really a shame. I hope somebody picks up this show. It really sucks that they cancel it after the one episode aired, but I think I think it's some kind of financial reasons or something. That's why I think that the company got screwed out of some financial things. That's why they canceled, which I think is a shame. But hopefully maybe another network will pick it up, because this show looks really good, and I would hate to see it just end after one season. Anyway, let me know what you think of Swamp Thing episode 2, called Worlds Apart, and let me know what you think. And the next episode is called He Speaks, so we may hear Swamp Thing speak in the next episode, which would be totally cool. Anyway, let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments down below. I have links to my social media in the description box: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I also have a link to my other channel, Paul's Views and Opinions. Please check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.